Right, so this is a book review for Game of Thrones, A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, written in 2000. And I found myself looking at a lot of YouTube clips as I was reading through this because I wanted to visualize a little bit better. I wanted a better picture, since it's available, what the situation was. So the main highlights that came out of this book, or the aftermath of the Blackwater Bay War by Stannis, who he lost it. So we got the perspectives of his servant Davos, and Jaime Lannister gets his hand cut off, which is a lot different than what the depictions are very different. The situations, the scenes, what was said are very different. Even the descriptions of the people. But he got his hand cut off. You got Tyrion. He had his nose cut off, and there was a lot of reference to that in the book, but in the TV show you don't see any of that. I don't even know if he talks about it. They might have painted a scar on his face for the TV show. Let's see, Arya, she's in the process of running around. She showed up during the Red Wedding and wanted to run in to save her brother. I don't know why I can't remember his name. I want to call him Jon, but that's Jon Snow. Jon Snow is in it too. We got Jon and Samwell. Jon, towards the end, got elected to lead this group for a year. He was at the tail end of his journey with the wildlings in the beginning, and then he broke away from them and returned back to Castle Black and was called the Turncoats and all this. Samwell was running around the Black Forest too and picked up this girl who had a baby. Let's see. So yeah, Joffrey he dies. So we have two deaths. We have both the red and the purple weddings. Okay, two kings died, and it's interesting to see the reasons. But the conversations, one of the funniest conversations I've seen was the Tyrion, him waiting for one of the Dornish. It's on page 524. Martell, just when they approached the King's Landing, Tyrion was there to serve as a greeter, and Tyrion was getting made fun of a little bit. They were just jesting. The Martells, Oberyn, Prince Oberyn, he was talking about how he visited King's Landing in his early youth, and was told about this freak of a baby, and how it had a tail and it was ugly and it killed its mother. And this was Tyrion, and it was really funny. That was the funniest part of the book, was him talking about what he expected to see with lions' teeth, a baby born with thick black hair and a beard, an evil eye and lion's claws, teeth so long he couldn't close his mouth, and between his legs were a girl's privates as well as a boy's. So but the thing is that this scene, it was in the beginning when they first met in the book here, but in the TV show, this was talked about, not in such detail, but it was talked about when Tyrion was waiting in trial. And that's what this book does, is in comparison to the TV show. No, this is what the TV show does. They either switch around scenes and put something later or something before something else, or they'll just remove stuff entirely. All right, like during the mountains fight with Prince Oberyn, when the mountain killed a squire and he cut him in half, and he's like, he said, "Shut up." But in the TV show, they didn't have that during the fight. I didn't see. I mean, I just watched bits and clips, but I'm pretty sure I saw the whole fight. All right, and it's just there's a lot of situations that went very differently. A lot of the reasons are different. They're more detailed in the book than in the TV show. They don't want to explain too much in the TV show. That would just be, that would take away from the drama. All right, like Mance Rayder, he just kept saying, "I don't kneel, I don't kneel," in the TV show, but he was explaining a lot more detail of why he didn't kneel, the history behind it, and all that. He didn't just repeat those words so much. You did see the you-know-nothing Jon Snow's in here, but of course, once again, Ygritte talked about her personal life a little bit in more detail, and it was interesting. I was trying to remember. There was a little story she told that was interesting. In the cave. But I can't quite remember. Oh yeah, Catelyn. She actually dies. So Catelyn's story ends. But then she's brought back to life with a slit throat. She wasn't able to talk after laying in water for 2 or 3 days. She was brought back to life by there's like they're an outlaw group. Who are like very honorable too, but they're an outlaw group. They need to steal money still, but they don't really say it here, do they? They're like the Sons Without Banners or something like that, and they travel around in a group. One of them was killed several times, and that's the thing about this book is people get killed and brought back to life, and there's the whites and the deadwalkers and the dragon's steel is the only thing that can kill the White Walkers, and there's this magic in the dragons with Daenerys, yeah, she's in this, and this is after her Khal Drogo died, and so she starts trying to free the slaves, and then she kills somebody with one of her dragons for the first time, but you know, it's like there's a lot of things that turn me off about it, but the ratio of the fantasy versus reality and logic, that it's really a good mix, because it kept me going. It wasn't like all magic spirits made these crazy things happen. There was good logic involved too, dark logic too. So it kept me involved reading this. I mean, they talk about there's a lot of fat people in this book, and that's not very believable to me. But I'll give it a benefit of the doubt with the magic. Okay, I do like a little fantasy. I'm not too thrilled about glorifying obesity, especially in this day and age. You can't imagine it. Well, these people didn't even have bicycles. They did have horse and buggies, like horse and carts, but this is early middle ages, so they're not really relying on wheeled transport as much. They're relying on horseback and just plain walking. All right, their movement, and that's the thing. Their movement is slow, but if you look at the map in the beginning, because he gives you a nice map, which you can also look on the internet. And there's also, I checked out this Minecraft website, and it has, like, they recreated a Minecraft version for this, but you don't see the names of the cities, so you have to be aware of where the cities are. I'll try to put that link, that Minecraft link, into this video. But the movement, and I've heard this controversy before, but one of the biggest movers that's just it's hard to believe is Stannis going from King's Landing all the way to the Wall, and it seems like in a short time too. And I think he probably traveled thousands of miles on foot just to answer a call for more men to the Wall. Oh man, there's oh yeah, Sansa. You saw her perspective. She's such a victim for a lot of abuse. She was married to Tyrion kind of as a joke, and the logic is amazing with Littlefinger. During King Joffrey's wedding, Littlefinger suggested having dwarves as entertainment, and Joffrey's like, I don't like dwarves, and that's when Littlefinger was like, well, Tyrion, it would be an insult to Tyrion, and then that's when Joffrey was all for that, having dwarves as part of the entertainment, and then Joffrey made fun of that. So it's a lot of interesting logic, but you'll see there's a break between the book and the TV show in a lot of ways. The flow pattern is still there, but I question Gren. Gren died early on in the TV show, but he stays alive. He wasn't killed by the giant, the king of giants. All right, Gren wasn't sent down there. Somebody else who died, like Turley or something. And so Gren has survived in this book. I don't know how they're dealing with him in the TV show after that. They just take out his parts. They probably figured he wasn't really needed. It's just so much more complication in the book. Other people. What I found interesting was Dario with. When Dario came onto the scene, if you look with the TV show, Dario was played by two actors. That confused me for a little bit. The first Dario I thought looked pretty cool and all, and so I was learning about him a little bit in the book. He beheaded his sellswords, which sellswords are guys who sell their sword to the highest bidder and fight for them. Or and their slaves and all that, so whatever the sellswords own. But Dario came onto the scene as this one guy, and then the next season it was another guy. And to introduce the new Dario, they had him like, and there's a scene in this book fight this one challenger in front of the slave gates, and how Dario fought him is completely different than how it actually went. Somebody else actually fought this champion, okay, in a different way. Dario made it in the TV show. Dario just kind of did this Indiana Jones thing, but in the book, it was a pretty brutal fight, and the guy, I forget his name, I don't know, Tully, whatever, he got injured, and then afterward, Khaleesi, Daenerys, whatever her name is. She said that wound, you need to clean up that wound. And he was like, well, I take pride in my wounds. But, I mean, she was like, well, my husband died. Khal Drogo died of a wound he sustained. So she was very concerned about that. Without trying to mix up seasons on the TV show with this book, I think I'll end it here. It's just, I'm talking about just very few things. In comparison to the 1,000+ pages, some interesting things. This is towards the end. They, one of the little boy kings, whenever he got in trouble, there was a whipping boy, and when he got in trouble, this other boy would get whipped. I've never heard of that before. It's on 1,109 page. The others, they keep saying the others a lot, and it sounds like it's the Deadwalkers. Oh yeah, the father and mother of Jon is Rhaegar and Lyanna. So they're the real parents for Jon Snow, I guess.